So Crash Bandicoot may be in danger of dying.
Crash Bandicoot 4 has kind of flopped.
Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time was actually an overwhelming success. Let's talk about it. What's up guys, Canadian Guy here, and I am back with a video that, well, ultimately is going to ruffle some feathers, and frankly, I don't care if you're upset with what I'm about to say. Crash Bandicoot 4 was labeled very early on by many people as being a flop. The game scored high critically, and Crash fans overall seemed to thoroughly enjoy it. However, specific cherry-picked early sales data was reported, and of course, bad news gets higher traffic versus good news, and thus, the narrative of Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time was a flop. Unfortunately, still to this day, people still believe that Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time did not sell well and write the game off. But today, I'm going to set the record straight. Over on LinkedIn, very recently, one of Toys for Bob's design directors, Toby Shad, had updated his profile. On his profile, we can see all the projects that he has worked on and is currently working on. The first one being an unannounced project that started development in December 2023. Hint, hint, it's Spyro 4. I'll explain why later in the video. Crash Team Rumble, Crash Bandicoot 4, Spyro Reignited, and of course many more. Now, of course, we can see here that it says that Spyro Reignited sold 10 million copies, which we confirmed officially back in October 2023. But right above it, we can see that Crash Bandicoot 4 sold over 5 million copies. Yep, 5 million copies. In case you're wondering, and if you don't know about the game industry, that is a very, very good number. Even if the sales data initially wasn't great, Crash Bandicoot is an evergreen IP that has many, many kinds of fans, from dedicated to casual. While its initial surge of sales may not be the best, it will steadily continue to get sales over time. And this report from an official high-ranking Toys for Bob developer confirms that statement. So, there you have it. 5 million copies sold. Can we just lay to rest that the game was actually... Oh no, not you again. I have multiple arguments to refute that statement. 1. Crash Insane sold over 10 million units, which is double Crash 4 sales. And 2, Crash 4 went free to play for a month on PSN, which is inflating the numbers. Crash 4 is still a flop, and Toys for Bob ruined Crash and the grass in Spyro. Yeah. Okay, Crash fan 42069, let's break this down. Let's start with your second argument. Yes, Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time was featured as one of PSN's free games of the month. In fact, from what I actually heard, it did very well in terms of downloads. But if we look back at Toby's LinkedIn page, we can see it doesn't say 5 million downloads. It says 5 million units sold. Sold. As in money exchanged for a product. So no, the numbers are not inflated by PSN's free game of the month. Now let's go back to your first argument. Crash Insane as of February 2019 sold over 10 million units. And yes, it is vastly successful. I don't want to knock it or take away from that. But there's one point that you're missing here, Crash Fan 42069. Crash Insane also released at a discounted price, and Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time was a full price title, which means Crash 4 makes more money per sale versus Crash Insane. Additionally, ironically, Crash Insane released during a very stable time. You could even say it was released during a sane time, while Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time released during a, very insane time. Not to mention, it also had to contend with brand new consoles releasing right after its launch, dealing with Tony Hawk 1 and 2 coming out at a cheaper price around the exact same time, and had a very truncated and short marketing time due to Again, a very insane time. There's also a glaring aspect that people seem to be ignoring that seems to be disingenuous. But Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy holds a massive amount of nostalgia that people gravitate to, which of course will naturally lead to more sales because people already know that they like these games. And it is from one of the most legendary titles of all time. But even with all the hindrances that Crash Bandicoot 4 had to deal with, it still has over 5 million sales. And it is the highest critically scored post-Naughty Dog non-remaster game in the history of the franchise. And yes, it even beat Insane's overall critic score. So saying that Crash 4 didn't follow suit in one aspect of Crash Insane's success doesn't make it a failure here. Again, we're just cherry picking stats. It's better to look at the full picture. In fact, to labor this point just a little bit more, just hang on, I got something really cool to show you. I reached out to a developer who's a friend of mine who understands the cost breakdown of games and basically gave me the math formula on how to estimate how much a game made. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to turn this into a math class or bore you with the details. Don't worry, we're going to make this real simple. In this calculation that I did, I estimated that 50% of Crash 4's sales were bought at full price, and the other 50% were bought on sale, ranging from 25 to 50% off. With this modeling, Crash Bandicoot 4 made an estimate of over $85 million in gross revenue. Now, we don't have the exact cost of development for actually making the game, but I have heard rumors here and there, and I would say based off of these unconfirmed rumors that the game's development cost sat in a ballpark of around $30 million. So, if that ballpark number is true, Crash 4 made an estimate of over $55 million in net revenue. Again, this is only a ballpark estimate, but you can more than tell that Activision made their money back with at least 150% return on investment, at least. Now, I said earlier that Toby Shad's profile mentioned that there was a project that was started in December 2023. And remember how I whispered to you that it was Spyro 4? But how do I know that? Is that confirmed? Well, you can check out this video here to find out why I firmly believe Spyro 4 is now in development. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye-bye!